Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Mr. Lucas. I'd like to thank you for stopping in to see me tonight. This is WebPage design and wanted to share with you a few things that what we're doing in class, give you an insight of expectations of students, what I have of them. Also, talk about a few things that might help you out with providing help to your kids. So first of all, let's talk about expectations. Okay, I've had some parents ask me about attendance. Um, yes, faculty, we are taking attendance on Zoom sessions, and again, that's usually what the questions are. How do I know if my kids are showing up to Zoom? Um, so you want to refer back to Skyward. Skyward's going to have that information for you where you can go back and you can look and see that should be done period by period. So on my end, after my Zoom session, what I'll do is I'll jump back into Zoom and run a report. And again, I can see, okay, how long students have been in and this information stored. So it's pretty cut and dry where we go back and have that. So again, that should be updated on a regular basis by the end of the day. So parents, you can go back and check to see if your student is joining in us on Zoom. So it's, again, no different than being face-to-face. Most of my Zoom sessions and face-to-face, it's just more or less overview. I do a lot of projects and they're independent in nature. Um, I want the kids to sort of learn how to learn along the way. So I provide a lot of resources where they can do this in class, outside of class, again, on Zoom. Sometimes, again, when students have trouble, again, I want them to be a self-advocate. And again, I'm going to stress that several times here, probably in this video, that they need to reach out to me. They're the ones that have to sort of do a self-assessment. Look, I'm having trouble with this. They need to reach out to me. So how do they do that? One of two ways. They can message me in Schoology and email me. Either would be fine. I tell them my boss emails me, and that's my major form of communication. But again, I also understand the convenience of Schoology and the messaging system built within there. I will get back to them as soon as possible. Same thing if you'd like to reach me. Again, either way is appropriate. Again, if a message is in the evening, sometimes I get back depending upon what I'm doing. If not, I get back to you the next day. So just keep that in mind, and reach out if you have any questions. And again, I encourage my kids to do that. Again, I think that open line of communication is very important, and I think that is one of those underlying things that the kids need to learn how to do to be successful members of society and being able to work within a job and career where they'd be able to communicate. So as far as another thing I'd like them to be a self-advocate for is looking to see their grades. So I want them coming back into Schoology and looking at the grade book. And I'm not saying it has to be done daily, but they should be checking that often. And they should apply that to all their courses. Looking to see, hey, look, I turned that in. My teacher doesn't have a score there. So what do they need to do? They need to reach out, communicate, and let me know, hey, look, I turned this in. And maybe it was simply an oversight on my end. Maybe I didn't get it. So again, that communication, again, it starts. So I think that's very important that they understand that. But that is something that I stress with them, where they need to look at that. And if they had gotten a score and it wasn't what they thought, typically everything I do is going to be using rubrics, or I'm going to have comments, and I'm going to leave kids feedback, so they need to know what they did wrong. So again, they're not making the same mistake twice. And a lot of times we are building upon what we've learned in this class. So again, I think, looking at the grades and trying to meet deadlines, I think that's very important. And I think there's certainly a time and place for deadlines. I'm also a firm believer that, my end goal is I want the kids to learn that. So if they learn that on a Tuesday versus learning that on a Wednesday, that's my goal. I don't typically take off for being late. I want the kids to turn things in. I want the kids to learn what they're doing. However, again, it doesn't serve a purpose to maybe do something after an assessment, because most everything we do will be for some type of assessment, either formal or informal. But again, I am open to having things turned in late. I think in life, once they get out in the real world, they're going to certainly understand deadlines, and other faculty members and other people they're dealing with will have different viewpoints on that. But I want to at least give you a little bit of a thought process that I have on that, and my goal is for them to learn. As far as Schoology goes, let's talk about this. This is the portal for everything. This is where kids are going to turn things in. This is where they're going to get information. So our layout, again, should be similar to other teachers. The district has asked that we sort of come up with the same type of look and layout. There's going to be some variances in there, but again, there's going to be some things out there. Course headquarters, I have a link out here for my Zoom meeting, and the brunt of everything will be course materials. I do have an agenda. It's a weekly agenda or a bi-weekly, depending upon what we're doing. I might put in multiple weeks there. So again, don't be surprised, but I lay things out. So our projects are a little bit larger, which usually make up of several smaller assignments. You can always scroll through the agenda to see, past week's agenda. So again, if your student has missed something from the previous week, you can go back and refer to the agenda. I a lot of times have a list out here of must-watch videos. I do a lot of instructional videos. I've been doing flipped classrooms for quite some time. So hybrid teaching is really not anything different than what I do on a normal basis. So I want the kids to be able to go back and learn and be able to utilize resources, whatever they can find, stuff that I've made or stuff that they can find on YouTube. So again, I give them a lot of different resources out there. As far as the content, okay, that's all going to be back here in the course materials. Okay, right now we're working on the HTML assignment. Again, we're wrapping up on that. So I have essentially the assignment itself. I use YouTube to store everything. I have a playlist out there for this where they can go back and research and find things. I have it broken down by week again on this. I have a list of resources here that I'm going to go back, just PDFs. Here's tutorials out there, some that I've made, some made by this EJ Media. So it's a really good series where they tell you, like, all right, well, how do you do this within this project? So again, this is the idea of Schoology. Again, some things are broken down by week, some are going to be by unit. So again, as we move into Dreamweaver here within the next week, I'll be adding another folder here for Dreamweaver and lay things out there. And again, I'll work on progress sheets. So on the progress sheet for each chapter, it'll indicate what they have to complete, what they have to turn in. So right now, your students are saving their work on their desktops, on their devices. Currently, I'm having them to share the work with me via a shared Google Drive folder. So they're uploading their work to Google Drive where I can go back and download that and give them feedback through Schoology or by contacting them through messaging. So again, that's sort of the premise right now. I think as we get into Dreamweaver, we'll probably do more one-on-one Zoom sessions with kids where they're going to show me. So, really it's not going to be a theory-based exam. It's going to be production-based. So here's a website. Here are some things I want you to put on there. This is the criteria. You do it, you show it to me. It's just checking off the box. I can see, hey, look, well, you very clearly know what you're doing. You have pictures on there, you have your links. And again, this is what I'm after. So it's very hands-on. Most of the kids like the class in that regard where it's not lecture. So again, it's something that it's a little different during the day for them. As far as other things as we progress in here, and again, like I said, I do organize this by topic, but within here I will have weeks. So I want to make sure there's green folders. Certain things that kids will have to do when we're starting to work with Dreamweaver. They don't always make a website from scratch. They open one up. So there's going to be files that they're going to have to download and install on their computer so they can go back and open things up. And also that leads me into the next thing is that the school has bought the kids a license for Adobe Creative Cloud. And if they were doing this individually, it would cost someone $25 a month. They have a subscription for a year. They have access to any of the Adobe products within their suite. They're going to have to download and put Dreamweaver on their device, be it on a personal device that they're using now or school laptop. And again, this has been a little bit of a problem right now, and the techs here at school are working on that to make sure they can get it installed on school laptops. The kids on personal devices, we don't have too much trouble at this point in time. But just so you're aware, as a parent, that they're going to be required to install Dreamweaver on their computer. And I've asked them to at least talk to you if they're using a personal device to make sure that you're aware of that and you know what's going to happen. And that will be pretty much from here on to the end of the year. We'll be using Dreamweaver and focusing on that. So as far as content goes, again, we start off with a little bit of HTML, and that's sort of like when I talk about like, what defines a web page. How do we get a page to look like a certain way? Usually through HTML, and again, that's the premise. From HTML, we're going to move into Dreamweaver. That sort of does that automatically, but again, the need to know HTML I think is very important, especially for troubleshooting and going back and figuring out maybe what's not happening. In Dreamweaver, again, we'll focus on using layouts, looking at different designs for pages, utilizing pictures, audio. We use something for styling called cascading style sheets. We have a wide range. We talk a little bit about e-commerce, looking at forms, how can we collect data, how can we control input, going back and maybe making mobile version of websites. So that's sort of our topic range that we go back and hit. I'm not quite sure in a hybrid design on if we'll have as many opportunities to make websites as we would normally, but I think we're going to have at least a very good sampling of everything. But that is a general overview of what we're going to be doing here in WebPage. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Again, email or Schoology message me would be great, and look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for stopping by. Take care.